Elden Ring Tarnished Edition and the Duskbloods. What the f? I wasn't expecting even one, but to get two Fromsoftware announcements in the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, let's get into it and talk about how Fromsoftware is coming to the Switch 2 in a big, bad way. First, we have Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. This was announced for Switch 2 with a release window of 2025, so this will be sometime after the Switch 2 is out in June. So this will include the base game and the DLC Shadow the Erdtree. But it also includes new armor, weapons, and customization features for Torrent's appearance. In this shot, you see some real Lucatiel from Dark Souls 2 looking armor, and then in this shot, you see Torrent dressed up like a carrion pony, wearing a Firekeeper mask. This new armor, weapons, and horse armor DLC will also be available on the other platforms, I assume once it is out on the Switch 2. This is all pretty cool, and I think it's awesome that there will be another console for people to enjoy Elden Ring on, and the extras coming to all versions of Elden Ring is just icing on the cake. My first experience with Shadow the Erdtree was on Steam Deck, so I'm curious to see how Switch 2 compares when playing Elden Ring and Shadow the Erdtree. But while that was a cool surprise, the really big news is the Duskbloods. This is a Fromsoftware Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive game currently slated for sometime in 2026. In it, you play as a Bloodsworn, people who have transcended human strength thanks to their special blood. You're trying to get first blood as the twilight of humanity approaches, whatever that means. In a gameplay sense, this is listed as a multiplayer action game. It's a PvPvE multiplayer title in which up to 8 players vie for supremacy among themselves and against challenging foes. The general theory from the community, and one that I tend to agree with, is that the Duskbloods will be something akin to an extraction shooter in which players collect weapons and equipment to fight each other and enemies as they make their way across the map to an extraction point. This is backed up by the fact that Hidetaka Miyazaki, Fromsoftware president and the Duskbloods director, stated in a 2023 interview that he's a fan of the extraction shooter Escape from Tarkov. Miyazaki said that he'd been looking toward Tarkov and other titles for inspiration to see how other developers are using multiplayer in-game design. Looks like the Duskbloods is the product of that inspiration. If that's the case, my speculation is that this game, in a move not totally dissimilar from what we've seen of Night Rain, will have a large map that remains more or less the same, with the variety coming in the loot and enemies around the world. Also, similar to Night Rain, I think this will be more of a character-based game, and I think we see a few different characters throughout this trailer. These details will hopefully get some clarity this week, as there will be an interview with Miyazaki about the game on April 4th at 10 p.m. I think, Japan time, and a creator's voice interview on the official Nintendo website. This is a good time for me to mention that you should subscribe to the channel, as I'll be digging into that interview when it comes out because I'm very curious about this game. The atmosphere and designs look great. I immediately pegged this as a Fromsoftware game within like 10 seconds of the trailer, starting with the music and just the general look of it. It's got major gothic Bloodborne vibes, some Sekiro flair, some Elden Ring dark fantasy. In fact, it's got such strong Bloodborne vibes that Nintendo even marked the trailer as Bloodborne on YouTube. It really feels like a mashup of other Fromsoftware styles and then some, like the giant Nier-looking moon, Rocket Man, Boob Frog, someone turning into a dinosaur. There's a lot going on here, and it's bizarre and intriguing. And then it's also the second multiplayer-focused game to be announced by Fromsoftware in the last 6 months, and I'm still working through my feelings on that one. And that's not me saying it's bad or you're bad if you're excited about that. I'm just saying that for me, I was riding high seeing this trailer, and then learning that it's a PvPvE multiplayer-focused game dimmed my hype ever so slightly. Part of the silver lining with Night Rain, which had a great closed network test that I enjoyed playing, by the way, was that for better or worse, it was a smaller scope title in which Fromsoftware could experiment with the genre and systems and try out new ideas. And the Duskbloods seems like even more of that, and I am more than happy to have the creative folks at Fromsoftware pursue their passions, which I have little doubt that this is what that project is coming from. I'd much rather have developers make a game they're passionate about that might not be for me than them to make a game for me that they're not passionate about. A game made with passion that might not be my jam might pull me in. A game without it will always ring a bit hollow no matter how in the pocket I should be for it. I'm also very happy that PvP folks are getting some love. One thing I'm hoping is answered by Miyazaki's upcoming interview is if Nintendo themselves are publishing. While I think it's pretty cool that Fromsoftware is coming out swinging on Nintendo as well, I'm wondering how long the Duskbloods will be relegated to Switch 2 hardware. In the press release, it appears that Fromsoftware owned the IP, but at this time we don't know who the publisher is officially. If it's Nintendo, it'll be a long time before this game comes to PC or other consoles. If it's published by Fromsoftware or someone else, we might get it elsewhere sooner. My guess is Nintendo is the publisher, but hopefully we will know more soon. I also have a few miscellaneous thoughts about this trailer that I'll just rattle off here. Between Night Rain and the Duskbloods, gravity has never been more nerfed. This mount this guy is riding looks nuts. There's a wild amount of pajamas being worn in this trailer. And I've got nothing to add here, I just want to show off this guy because he looks awesome. And there you have it, Fromsoftware was going hard on Switch 2. All the Elden Ring stuff is pretty cool. I look forward to dressing up like a fancy lad swordsman of Mira and riding around on my Carrion Torrent. The Duskbloods was a huge surprise and has some incredible looking designs. I'm just finding myself with another Fromsoftware title that I'm not totally sure the gameplay will be for me, which as a Fromsoftware fanboy means I'll play it for 40 hours and put it down instead of making it my entire personality, which isn't a bad thing. Like with Night Rain, I'm hoping that some of the story and atmosphere and narrative are still present in there. They don't have to be like Elden Ring or Dark Souls in that presentation, and I'm fine coming to a game for other things, but I do hope that they have interesting worlds to sort of chew on, even if it's not quite the same as it is going around in something like Elden Ring or Dark Souls. What are your thoughts on all of this? I know you have them. Leave a comment with how you feel about the Duskbloods. If you have some strong feelings about the Elden Ring content on Switch 2, I feel like that one's a pretty easy win, but the Duskbloods is very interesting and I'm curious to get your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and you should subscribe to the channel where we'll be talking more about the Duskbloods and Night Rain coming up. There's a lot of Fromsoftware stuff on the horizon that's really exciting, and we'll be covering it on the channel. Thanks for watching.